Hello and welcome back to Getting Started with BGFX. So in this video what we're going to do is we are going to create our project and we're going to add our libraries, and also just so we can see something working we'll get a window open. But first, this is what we are working towards. This is a very contrived example, but as you can see we've got a lot going on here. We've got 2D and 3D working together. We've got a 3D rotating colored pyramid. We've got a rotating texture. These two quads here, they are blended together and they're blended with the pyramid behind it. We've got some text. Got these two quads here. This is achieved using a stencil. So the middle quad here is used as a stencil to cut the middle part out of the bigger yellow quad. So it achieves an outline effect. Also got IMGUI, which is also controlling the post-processing color. So you can move that around, you can change the color of the entire scene. And also, as you can see over here, we are reading the color underneath the mouse pointer when the user clicks on the window. So you click here, get that, which makes it the cyan color. We'll go over here, got red and blue that makes it the purple color. We'll click here, we've got red. So the only tool you're going to need to achieve all this is Visual Studio 2022, and the only knowledge you'll need to bring to the table is obviously how to use Visual Studio, as well as some understanding of C++, which is the language that we're going to be using to achieve all this. I'll be explaining the rendering concepts as we go along. So without further ado, let's dive into it. As promised, we will start with a blank project. So if you open up Visual Studio 2022, click Create a New Project, and our language is C++. Want an empty project, call it Getting Started with BGFX, click Create. And here is our brand new project. Now, because we'll be adding some libraries as submodules, we will need to create a Git repository. So go down to Git Changes, click Create Git Repository, and then sign in to your GitHub account. Click Create and Push. Alright, so that's done. So what we'll do next is we'll add the libraries. So the first library we're going to add is BGFX. By the way, I will include links to all the libraries that we'll be using in the video description. So go to the BGFX GitHub page, scroll down until we find the building link, click on that. And then we need to add all these three repositories as submodules. So if you go to the project folder, open up a command window, and we'll go git submodule add, and we'll add the first one. That's done. We'll do another one. And then we'll do the last one. So that's all done now. So the next step is to go into the BGFX folder. Now BGFX has its own custom build system. So if we run this part here, you can see all the different options that we have. We can see all the different IDEs that it supports. And if we scroll up a bit, we will have this option here with tools, enable building tools. So this will enable the tools that come with BGFX to be built, including the shader compiler. This will build the shader compiler which BGFX will need, since it has its own shader language, and the compiler compiles it into the shader specific to whatever API the computer is using, like SPIR-V for Vulkan, HLSL for DirectX, GLSL for OpenGL, etc. So run it again. We'll give it the options of -- with tools, as well as the IDE we're using, which is VS 2022. Push enter, and it's generated all the projects. So if you go into your project folder, go into BGFX, go into .build, go into projects, VS 2022, and there's our solution. So if you open the BGFX solution, and we want to build our entire solution for both debug and release. So this will take a few minutes, so I'll pause the video and I'll come back when it's done. Alright, so that is all built now. So you can close the solution. And then if you go up to the .build folder, go into Win64 VS 2022, the bin folder, and you can see the various libraries that have just been built: BGFX debug, release, BX debug, release, and so on. You scroll down a bit and you can see the shader C debug and release. So that is our shader compiler. Okay, next up we go to SDL. So go to the SDL page and we'll go to SDL releases. We scroll down and we want this one, SDL development vs.zip. So you download that. And then go to your downloads folder, unzip that. Alright, and then we'll move that folder that's just come up into our project folder. So go up to your main project folder, paste it here, and if you go into that folder, go into lib x64, there's the SDL3 library, and we also want to move this SDL.dll up to our main project folder. Alright, next up is GLM. GLM is a header only library, so we just need to add it as a submodule. So you get the git path, copy that, go back up to our main folder, then we go git submodule add, paste that in. That's done. Same thing with STB. This is another header only library, so you just copy the git path. Then go git submodule add, paste that in. Done. Next is free type, so go to the free type page, go to download. Click the link. This will take you to all the releases, so find the latest one, and it looks like the latest one is 2.14.1. So you download the tar.gz file. Go to your downloads folder, extract it. Then you want to move that folder into here, into your main project folder. Now this is another library that we have to build, so go into it and open up msbuild.solution. And we want to build it for debug static and debug release. So build the entire solution. This will not take long. Done. So you can close that now. And they are in objects, x64, and you got the debug release and static release. So go into one of them, and you can see the library's been added there. Okay, finally we go on to IMGUI. Now IMGUI is a very popular GUI library that is designed to work with multiple Windows and rendering libraries. You just have to build it with the right backends. Now in our case we need to build it with SDL3 and BGFX. However, IMGUI does not come with a backend for BGFX. There is one in the example code, but I don't like to use it, so I created my own that everyone can use. It's freely available, so I'll include the link in the description. So we're just going to add it as another submodule. So copy the git path, git submodule, add that. And that's done. Alright, so that is all of our libraries added to our project. So the next thing we need to do is we need to set our include paths, library paths, and libraries. So go back to a Solution Explorer, right click on our project, go to Properties. Oh, we don't have a C++ file. So we don't have our C++ options. We need a C++ file for that. So you just go Add. So right click on our project, add new item. We'll call it main.cpp. There it is. We'll leave it empty for now. So go back into our project properties, and we've got our C++ options. So the first thing to do is we need to add our include library. So we'll start with the debug. You click over here, go to the drop down menu. And first one to add is BGFX/include, and another one BX/include, and another one BIMG/include, add another one, and we'll do GLM, add another one, STB, add another one. Now we want to add the free type include. So we'll copy this. So we'll keep always try and keep your paths relative. So just copy this first part here, the one that says free type /include. So just copy that. Then we'll add another one. And the last one we need to add, SDL3. So again, keep a relative. And now the last one to add is IMGUI. Okay, so that's done. We'll apply these changes. Go to release. And yes, I know I could have done it for all configurations, but I'd like to keep it separate. So we'll go to include, BGFX/include, BX/include, BIMG/include, GLM, STB, IMGUI. We'll paste in SDL3 include, and we want to get the free type include. Okay, that's done. So I'll click apply. Now the next thing to do is add our library path. So go to linker and go to additional library directories. So click that. So we're in release at the moment. So go edit. And then we'll go back to our folder. Now all the BGFX libraries are in BGFX/build projects VS20, nope, sorry, not projects, Win64 VS2022 and bin. So I'll copy that path. Always keep your paths relative. Then we'll add another one. We don't need the library for GLM IMGUI OSTB, so we just need free type. Objects, x64, release static. So again, we'll just copy that last part of the path to keep it relative. And then SDL3 lib x64. Okay, and that's that done. So I'll apply that. We'll go to our debug. So the first one we'll just add the SDL. Go back up to our free type objects x64 debug static. And last one is the BGFX library, so bgfx.build win64 bin. Copy that and done. Then click OK and we click apply. Okay, the next part is to add our libraries. So go to input and we're in our debug configuration. So you click the drop down menu next to additional dependencies. Click edit. First one to add is bgfx debug.lib, bx debug.lib, and bimg debug.lib, freetype.lib, and sdl3.lib. So those are the only ones. This is in no particular order. Then click OK. We'll apply that. Go to our release. Edit. It's bgfx release.lib, bx release.lib, bimg release.lib, freetype.lib, and sdl3.lib. Click OK and we click apply. A few more things we need to do in our project properties. First we'll set the C++ language. So you go up to C++, go to language, and this time make sure you're in all configurations, and we want to change the C++ language standard to C++ 23 because this is the 21st century and I want to use the std print library. So I'll apply that. Then we go up to our preprocessor. So all we need to do is for debug and release. So go up to here. So this is for debug. Push enter. We need to go bx underscore config underscore debug. So this will tell BGFX that we are in debug mode. And we'll also do glm underscore force underscore left underscore handed. We'll click OK, apply those changes, we'll go to the release. Then we'll go bx underscore config underscore debug equals 0. Even though that we're in the release, we still have to tell BGFX that we are in a release mode. Then we'll go glm underscore force underscore left underscore handed. So what does glm force left handed do? Well, glm is our matrix and vector library, so those are the things that we use to position the objects in our world, and that is how we determine what we can see. So those are the tools we use. And force left-handed means that it will force GLM to use a left-handed coordinate system. So what is a left-handed coordinate system? Well, if you hold up your left hand, make a fist, stick out your thumb, put your index finger up and your middle finger forward. Those are the directions of your positive axes. This is your X, which goes left and right. This is your Y, which goes up and down. And then this is the Z, which goes in and out of the screen. So it'll be like this when you're viewing the screen. So the positive X goes to the right, positive Y goes up, and positive Z goes into the screen. The reason we do that is because BGFX will use DirectX under the hood if you're on a Windows machine like we are, and DirectX uses a left-handed coordinate system. That's opposed to likes of OpenGL, which uses a right-handed coordinate system. So that means that the positive Z is coming out towards you from the screen. Now you can ask BGFX what rendering API is using and then change the coordinate system based on that. But for our example, we will be using this on a Windows machine, and so we'll use DirectX. So we're just going to force it to use a left-hand coordinate system just to make things a bit simpler. Then we'll click OK. We'll apply those changes and go back to all configurations. Last thing we need to do, this only applies if you are using Visual Studio as we are. You go down to command line and we need to give it additional options. So we need to go /z c preprocessor, then /z c __c ++. Okay, apply those changes, click OK, and that is all of our libraries and paths all set up. Now we need to include our IMGUI files. It's always easier just to include IMGUI in your project rather than making a library for it. So you right click on your project, add existing item, go into IMGUI, add the IMGUI demo, draw, tables, widgets, add those. Then we'll go back to add existing item, backends. Now we want the backend for BGFX and for SDL3. Click add. Excellent. Alright, let's get a window open. So go into main.cpp. First thing to do is include print. Then we go define SDL _main _handled. Then we include SDL3 /SDL.h. We'll define our screen _width as 1600. Define screen height as 900. Then we do our main function. Now we need to initialize BGFX. So we go if SDL, initialize SDL, not BGFX. We'll do that in the next video. _init. Now we just want the video subsystem. So if it returns less than 0, that means that something's wrong. So we just will print the error. SDL get error. Alright, so if we get to this point, that means that we can initialize, we can create our window. So SDL window equals SDL _create window. Give it a title of getting started with BGFX. Give it our screen width, our screen height. I'll pass in 0 for the flags. Alright, we'll do our running flag. We'll create our event variable. Now, while running equals true, so while we still want to run our application, we need to go through all of the events that have been posted to our window. So while SDL underscore poll event, pass in the pointer to the event variable. The only event we need to worry about is the quit event, so that gets posted to our window when the user wants to close the window. So we go event.switch on the event type, and case SDL underscore quit. Set the running to false, and we'll break out of that loop. Alright, so once we get down to here, that means that we're closing the window, so we need to destroy it. And then we do return 0. Alright, so there it is. Let's run it and see what happens. Oops, what have we got here? Runtime library value state debug doesn't match dynamic debug. Ah, I see. Okay, so if you get this, that means that BGFX has been compiled as a static library, but we're trying to build our project as a dynamic library. So what you do is go back to your project properties, go to C++ code generation, we'll start with debug. So this is the option we want, runtime library. So we want to change that to multi-threaded debug. We'll apply that. And we'll go to our release and we'll change it to multi-threaded. Okay, click apply, and now we'll try again. And here is our window. So that's it for this video. In the next video we are going to initialize BGFX and we'll get the window cleared with a clear color. I'll push everything to GitHub and I will see you in the next video.